Good morning, everyone. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes, see if any other participants are going to come on, and then we'll get started. Okay, so good morning, grantees, and welcome to the Federal Financial Report Training. The Family Violence Prevention and Services Act program is pleased to offer grantees training on how to successfully access and complete their financial reports for their discretionary grants. So as we're all aware, these reports are definitely a requirement for your grant, and we understand there can be some confusion about what to report and how to make sure it's done correctly. The staff from the Payment Management Services has collaborated with the FVPSA office to provide a training of this process. We're excited and grateful to have Tanya Thomas from Program Support Center, Financial Management and Procurement Portfolio within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So I'm pleased to pass things over to Tanya.
Good morning, and thank you very much. So let me share my screen and we can get started. For 1 second, didn't change my slideshow. Okay, here we go. Let's try that again. Start sharing.
Do you need me to stop sharing?
I got it. Yeah,
okay,
I just needed to flip screen.
Awesome.
Okay, you can see it now.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session on completing your federal financial report for ACF, or understanding your federal financial report that you must submit to ACF. I am Tanya Thomas. I go by TJ. You will rarely hear me say Tanya. So I am with the Office of the Director for Payment Management Services. So today's agenda item will be just a little bit of background. I'm going to talk about goals, federal financial report module, and then we're going to do a live demo, and then I'll open up for any additional questions you may have. So just a little bit of background. So the standard form 425, or what we call the federal financial report data, is reported in different systems. So if you're doing your quarterly report, that is completed in the payment management system. So whether you're doing your quarterly, your semi-annual, or if it's a monthly. As far as your annual reporting, the annual report can be completed in multiple systems. You may be required to complete it in payment management, and you may be required to complete it in another system if ACF has instructed you to do so. So per the executive government-wide objectives, the reason we have this report is to reduce the recipient burden when it comes to reporting. And this is from the Data Act, Section 5, Grants Pilot, also OMB Memo 1824, and also based off the President's Management Agenda. So the goal is to consolidate the federal financial report for grant recipients and payment management system as one single source of reporting. This will allow PMS to share financial data to the auditing agency's grant system. It also allows for timely manner of closeouts and monitoring the grants that your grants officer or grant management specialist are responsible for. And it also helps to reduce expired award payments. So right now, if you're submit a payment request in payment management system and it's 90 or 120 days after the award end date, then PMS staff is required to contact ACF and request an approval. And then once they have an approval, if the liquidation period needs to be updated because you have an extension on the grant award, then ACF at that time can update that liquidation period. So currently, these are the agencies that are currently utilizing the FFR functionality in the payment management system. So we're going to go over access. So of course, in order for you to complete the federal financial report in the payment management system, you must have access to this module. So if you have new employees or if you're new, then you must request access. If you currently have access and do not have the functionality, then you need to update your profile. Once you submit your request, it may take up to 4 business days to complete the process. During the end of the month, the end of the quarter, the end of the fiscal year, we get triple the request. So it may take a little longer, but normally we will get all of them processed within your 4 business days. So when I do your live demo, I will show you where to go to access this information, and especially on how to update your profile. So here is our homepage. We always say to bookmark at this page so you can see all the information we have available for you, especially in the bar that's pink. We will put a lot of detailed information there that we need you to be aware of. So on here, we have a tab for grant recipient. You will find a lot of information, and there is a link there for FFR information. Also, the user access tab. That's where you will go to update your profile, deactivate a user, or for someone new. So when you click on a user access tab, these are your 4 options. So again, new users are first-time users, or after 60 days of non-activity, we do deactivate your user ID from PMS, and you have to request your access all over again. So make sure you stay on top of your access. If someone leaves, then you would deactivate that individual. And once you submit a request, you can always check the status of your request by using the Assets Request Status option. And we also have instructions as well. We also say, please be mindful that everyone in your organization who needs access to PMS must have their own assigned PMS user ID. We do not assign by organization, we assign by individual. So once you're in the system, as far as your access level, you need to make sure on the access level under Federal Financial Report, you have access. So whether you're going to view only, are you the preparer only, are you certifier only? If you're both preparer and certifier, then make sure you select both preparer and certifier. PMS does not dictate what access you should have. It's based off of your roles or rules within your organization. There are some organizations that does separation of duties where one person will prepare and one person will certify, or you can have the same person doing both functionality. It doesn't matter how many individuals have access, as long as at least one person has access as an preparer and or certifier. If you already have access to PMS and you need to update your profile information, then from your menu from the dashboard, you're going to go to Update Privileges. And when you go to Update Privileges, it'll take you to the screen. And if you need to update your privileges, you just go to the bottom and it'll take you to the access level screen and you'll make your selection. So now let's talk about the Federal Financial Report module. Once you log on to PMS Payment Management System, you're automatically routed to what we call a dashboard. So from your dashboard, you're going to go to the top left and click on Menu. When you click on Menu, then you will see Federal Financial Reporting. You will click there. Once you're there, it will take you to the next screen for the Federal Financial Reporting listing. And you're going to select the second option, Federal Financial Report. You also will see a user guide as well. So here is your report search screen. So on here, you have several ways to access your FFRs. You can do it by a specific PMS account number, your grant ID number. Your federal grant ID number is the same as PMS grant document number. So in PMS, we don't call it federal grant ID number. It says grant document number. That is the same as your federal grant ID number. You can do by reporting periods, where there's all your periods or current. You can also search by delinquent. I just want to see any report I have not completed. Also, you can do report statuses, and it depends on the status. You have report available to be completed. The report has been prepared by the grantee, but it has not been submitted. The report has been prepared and submitted and is waiting agency approval. Or you have also where you can see a listing of all FFR reports that has been approved by the awarding agency, and also those that have been rejected by the awarding agency. And then under agency ID, you can just go, if you just want to see all the reports that's available for a specific awarding agency that you have access to, then you can use that option. So once you make your criteria or enter your criteria, you're going to select the search screen. And before I do that, also your other option is, if you do not enter anything and you leave the data as is, if you just click the search button, it will bring up all the FFRs that you have access to under your PMS account number. So once you make your selection, click on search, and it'll bring you to a screen that looks similar to this. So I did a search for all my reports for ACF, and I noticed I have 2,809 reports. So the first thing is you have your column, your payee account number, your PMS account number, the federal grant ID number. So again, I said this will be the document number that's in the payment management system. You have the agency information, the report type, whether your report is quality, semi-annual, annual, finals, monthly. We'll also tell you the reporting period ending date, the date your report is due. Once you submit your report, it will provide the report submission date. And then your report status. So it lets you know when the report is available, where it is in the process. And if it's delinquent, your delinquent reports will show up highlighted in pink with a red circle with the exclamation in the middle of it. And then under actions, you will have your following actions. The one that looks like the notepad and the print function. The third action you see that looks like three little bars, you do not have access to. This is my screen. So therefore, you're seeing my little, my other nodes that are available to PMS staff only. So your functionality will look like line number 2 that just has the notepad and the print function. So to begin your report, you will always select the notepad. Also, you are able to do what we call group actions. So again, when I do live demo, I will show you how that group action works. So group action means if you select any of the pay accounts using the little box on the left side of the pay account, if you select it, then you can do group action, whether you want to print all them at one time, you want to view them. So that option is available under what we call group action functionality. So once you click the little notepad button, then it'll take you to the actual report screen. So here you will have different tabs that are available to you, and I will be going over these tabs once we do the live demo. So you always will start at the preview report, and lines 1 through 5 will be information that is being pre-populated based off the data that we receive. So again, it will have whatever your agency is in here and the address. If for some reason the information as far as your address is incorrect, please make sure you go to sam.gov, make sure your sam.gov registration is active. And then if you have a change of address, then you're going to contact the awarding agency and let them know you have changed your address. Whether you have an organization name change, address change, EIN change, you will first check sam.gov, make sure that's updated, then contact your awarding agency. They will submit that request in the payment management system. It'll route to PMS, we'll review it, and then submit it. The next portion you have is 6, 7, 8, and 9. So depending on how we receive your data is how we're pre-populating this information. PMS cannot change this information. So if this information is incorrect, then you should contact your grants officer or grants management specialist and let them know that the information for that specific FFR is not correct. The next section is transactions, where it comes from. These are all, remember, this is, you're reporting cumulative, not quarterly, not semi-annual. So these are cumulative data you're entering. So cash receipt is pulled from the payment management system from your actual payment. And your payments will be pulled from all the payments that have been approved through your liquidation period. The cash disbursement, because ACF no longer, or HHS as a whole, no longer submits the cash report in PMS. So all your payments that you have drawn down will be the same for your cash disbursement. And line 10C is just line A minus B. The next section is your federal expenditures and unobligated balance. 10D authorized pull automatically from payment management system based off of the authorization that has been posted in our system by ACF. You will complete 10E and F, and G and H are auto-calculated based off the data that you enter. Recipient share. If you are required to report this data, then you would enter that information. Line K is an automatic calculation depending on the data you enter on line I and J. Please note when you're doing your data input, your lines on certain lines, on your lines, you cannot have negative numbers. Program income, depending on what's in your notice of grant award or your terms and conditions, you would enter the data for your program income. Again, if on line O is an auto calculation depending on the data you enter from L, M, and N. Indirect expense rate. So right now you only are allowed to enter 2 indirect expense rates. If you have more, then your options are 1, to enter the additional information in box 12, which is your comment box, or you can attach a document, upload a document with the additional information. When you're doing your indirect expense rate, please make sure you have your decimal point correct. Depending on how you enter the decimal may give you a different amount. Box 12, any additional information you want to convey to ACF, your grants management officer or specialist, you enter in box 12. They will see those comments. Once you have completed the top portion of your report, then the preparer from the drop-down menu will select their name and then hit submit. It would then route to the certifier for the certifier to review and submit. So please note, as I stated earlier, if the preparer completes the report and it goes to the certifier, and we have 2 different functionalities, meaning that I can only prepare and my supervisor only can certify. Once it gets to my supervisor, if he or she reviews it and there is data that is not accurate, the certifier cannot edit the report, only the preparer. So the certifier would notify the preparer that whatever line item is not accurate, the preparer will have to go back and edit that report and resubmit. Now, if your supervisor or your second person does have the preparer and certifier functionality, then yeah, that individual can edit that data. So on our screens for preparer and certifier, we automatically pull your phone number, email address per the information that is already in the payment management system. There are several manuals and reports that are in PMS that are available to you. You have your ad hoc grantee inquiry report. You can run multiple queries there on authorizations, your payment history, your account balances as well, and grant information. We also have a manual for your Apex manual, for the Apex reports as well. Also, you will see your user guides for FFR, inquiries, and Apex reports. Here's just our PMS information. We are internet-based, so no matter where you are, as long as you have your username and password, you're able to access our homepage. Our hours of operation, we're open Monday through Fridays. The system is up on the weekends as well. Our federal holidays, PMS staff is not here. PMS is closed. However, the system may be up. We will have something on the webpage to let you know if we're going to have a modified time. So if it's a holiday, like our next holiday is in President's Day, which is about a week and a half away, the hours of operation, it may not be Monday on that day from 5 to 11. It may be a modified time. So always just check our homepage for any updated information regarding our holiday schedules. If for any reason you need assistance, there are several ways you can contact us. You can contact the help desk by telephone number. You can send an email to them. You can also do a submission of tickets. And we also have an online help services and FAQs that's available to you. Also, you can contact your PMS liaison accountant if you also need assistance. And when I do your live demo, I will show you where that information is and how you can find your liaison accountant. As far as different fields, and I talked about it during the screenshots, depending on the fields, it depends on who you should contact. So if you are anything like your liquidation dates, if you need requesting extensions of the FFR, expired payment rejection, all that, you need to contact your grants management officer or grants management specialist who is listed on your notice of grant award. When it comes to missing FFRs, the due date is wrong. The data is not populating correctly in lines 1 through 9 of your FFR. You must also contact your awarding agency that's on your notice of grant award. Payment management system doesn't pull this information. We receive this data through what we call a web service. So whatever information we receive from that web service, PMS populates. If you have issues with cash receipts and cash disbursements in line 10D, then yes, you should contact PMS, whether you're contacting the help desk or your assigned liaison accountant. Please make sure whether you call us or email us, you always provide your PMS account number in the subject line, and then also provide your PMS document number and sub-account. That would help us to expedite your request and also look up information as well. So now that I went an overview of the form, we're actually now going to do a live demo. So if you give me 1 second while I switch over, and then I will do a live demo for you. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and log in with my username and password. And as I stated earlier, when you log into PMS, you automatically will route to what we call our dashboard. On your dashboard, you will see quick information. It'll tell you how many FFRs are delinquent. There's 89 FFRs that are delinquent, and you can get to them by clicking on the little book under actions. Also, you can, how many is ready for prepare and certifier. So it's 120 reports that are ready, and you can click on the little book. Also, you can get to your federal financial reports by going to your menu and federal financial reporting. But before we go there, I talked about earlier on how to get to a couple of things in our system. So here under Apex reports, you have your manual for Apex report, and here is how you get to your screens to look up data under grantee inquiry. So here, if you have not used this functionality, it's very friendly for you. And also with this query here, you're able to download data to an Excel spreadsheet. And also you're able to save any of your reports that you run. So you're able to look up information about authorizations, payments, grant summary, and sub-account summary will also give you account balance. So let me go back to the home. And so now we're going to go click on federal financial reporting. And here you have your user guide, and we're going to click on federal financial reports. So here is your screen. Again, you can enter by your PMS account numbers, by reporting periods, all or current, whether you want to see delinquent reports or not, your grant ID number, and then remember I said that's the PMS grant document number. Also for the document number, if you know you have grants like year 1, year 2, year 3, it has 01, 02, 03 on the end. If you enter the first part of the grant and the last part, you put an asterisk next to it, it will bring up everything that starts with that grant number. You have your report statuses, so you can select which ones you want to see. And then depending on your profile, you can select, so I have access to all these reports I have to complete. So if you select, these are all my reports for, I want to see for ACF, then you can search and it'll bring up everything. So you can notice I have 130 that gives me my search. The max you can see on the screen is 100 at one time, and then I have a page 2. From here, you can sort your data by payee. So your grant document number or your federal grant ID number, your report type, your period. So if I wanted to sort my period here and go, I want the most recent ones at the top. So now I have my most recent reports showing at the top. And I have my reporting due dates. Once I submit my report, then I have my submission date. You have your report status. So you can see I have quite a bit that are delinquent. And then you'll see the delinquent notice, and then I'm ready for action. So for instance, I talked about your group action. So if I wanted to do reports, my quarterly reports, I can select 3 and go to group action. I can print all of these. I can certify all of them at the same time as well. So if I click on certify, you'll see it may give you a message ineligible for reports or how many is eligible. If it says ineligible, that means you have to actually go and do the report single. If it's under eligible, that means you can enter the data on the forms at one time and submit. So we're going to cancel this, go back to my screen and search again. And we're going to start a report. So I am going to start with your non-finals first. So let's go with the annual report. So I'm going to submit my report. I will go to review. And for your annual report, so for any report type that is monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, in this case, this is an annual report for this annual report. As long as the fields are open, they are editable. Okay, so these reports are editable for you. Even though we pre-populate the data that's from PMS, as long as it's opened, then you are able to edit that information. So I'm going to start entering some data. So I'm going to take this amount first, and I'm going to slightly change it to, let's see, here. And then I'm just going to put a number here. And you notice your information changes. So here, you're able to, again, G and H is automatic calculated. You must enter 10E and 10F. If you're required to have recipient share, then you would enter that information on recipient share. Also for program income. Here, if you're required to have it, you can enter it. If not, you will leave it blank. Okay. And here from your type, you will select your type. And remember I said that you only have 2 that you can enter on the screen. If you have more than 2 indirect expense rate you need to report, you have the option of entering in box 12, or there is a tab that says documents that you can use this tab and upload a file. We accept Word documents, Excel, and PDF. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter some data on my annual report. And then I am going to submit. I don't have any comments. First, before I submit, I'm going to go ahead and select my name under the prepare and hit submit. Now, everything has been submitted successfully on my report. And then it goes to the certifier. So here it says you must select your name. So that means it has a validation. So I got to go back because I am the preparer and the certifier. I select my name, hit certify. So this report has been submitted. So if I went back to my screen, oh, I went all the way back. I'm sorry. If I go all the way back to my screen and search again. Okay, and now, oh, where's my report? Here it is. You can see my report has been submitted. I lost it, where'd it go? Here it is. So this is a report I just submitted and it's waiting for agency approval. One thing I do want you to note that when it comes to your reports, we do not stop payments because your report is delinquent. ACF has not told us that payments should be stopped because you have not submitted your report. So we get a call, a lot of times we get a call, well, my report hasn't been approved yet. ACF, whoever your grants officer, grants management specialist is, they will review and approve your report at their time, but that does not prohibit you from submitting a payment request. If for any reasons this report now needed to be revised, then all you would need to do is go back and click review. And at the top of the page, you see edit report. And at the bottom of the page, you see edit report. So all you need to do is click on edit report and all the fields will reopen to you. So you do not need to contact us again. So here, the report details tab, it lets you know when the report is available. Now it has my preparer name, who prepared it. The preparer didn't enter any comments, so you don't see comments. The certifier has certified it and there's no comments. So once the agency reviews it, you will see comments. If they choose to enter comments, you'll see that information there. So I want to go and look at a report that's already been approved by the awarding agency. And it always takes me back to my complete screen. So let's go, and I'm going to look at a report that's already been approved. And so if you needed to see a comment for the reports, if you go back to actions, and let's click on the report details tab. So you see here, they'll let you know who approved the report, the date they approved it, the person's name, telephone number, and email. And if they had comments, you would see the comments. The third tab says status history. So it says report available to be completed. Who did the report? It says report prepared by the grantee. The certifier in this case is the same individual. And who approved the report. If you have documents, once it's submitted, there's no documents here. That's on file. There is no report history here. And if we send any notifications, you can see here, FFR report was created. And that's a notification that we have here. The all details tab is just a combination of all these tabs. In the future, you will just see preview report in all details tab. You will not see the other individual tabs because they will all be lumped into one. Okay. All right, so let's look at a report that has been rejected. In this case, they have no reports that's been rejected. So here, that means all your reports have been approved. So again, you can do reports that you have started. So report prepared by grantee, meaning I have started the reports, but I have not finished them. So since we're here, let's go ahead and look at a final. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my review process. If you notice for my final, okay, so here I started it, but now I need to edit. So I'm going to go ahead and click on edit and my fields open up. So if you notice this time, when it comes to your final reports, whether it's a budget final or a project final, you notice that certain fields are grayed out. Your cash receipts will pull automatically from payment management system from your payments through your liquidation period, all the way, all your payments that has been completed and approved in the system. Your authorized amount is populated based off the authorization that's in PMS. Here you would enter your expenditures. So here, if I say I did the entire report, okay, you would not, unliquidated obligations here is non-editable. So for ACF, it would just be grayed out. So you cannot enter any data. Recipient share, if you're required to have recipient share, it will pre-populate based off of matching, a matching percent. If it doesn't pertain, then all you have to do is take it out because it is an editable field and enter 0. Program income, again, if you're required to have it, you can enter that data, and as well as your expenses. So I'm just gonna put no comment at this time. And then, so now I'm ready to submit my report. So I'm gonna go and get my name and hit submit. So you can see here, we do have validations in the system. Because it's the final, the validation showing that my 10E does not match my 10A and B. So if I go back to my A and B, because it's a final, you must match. So if you actually have spent the whole $100,000, then we're only showing that you have requested 98. You cannot submit this report until you have requested that money and it's been transmitted to your bank. And then the next day after it's posted to your bank account, then go back and complete your report. At that time, you can click the recalculate button and it'll populate to the $100,000. Even if I go back and say you've only spent $95,000, and we're gonna go and submit, it still would stop your report because again, it is a final. And if we're saying here, if you only have expenditures of 95,000, but PMS shows you have requested 98, until you return those funds and it's been posted in the payment management system, you will not be able to submit that final. So just remember, when we're talking about your final, A and B and E must match, or you will not be able to submit your report. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, yes, I have spent everything I said I requested. And I'm also the certifier. So I'm going to go ahead and get my name and certify it. And now my report has been submitted. So if I go back to my report details tab, you can see I've already did my report. I had no comments and is waiting for the awarding agency to review. You can see the status history here. So here I talked about data coming from the web services. So if you notice here that this report says web services grant solution, that means that when we generated this report, it was based off the data that we received through a web service file from Grant Solutions. So that's why we tell you when it comes to lines 1 through 9, we're not able to change that data. You have to go back to your grants officer and inform them, and then they will contact Grant Solutions to make sure that we get that updated data. So here I prepared the report and certified the report, and it'll tell you who did it and if any comments. So you'll see the comment section as well. I didn't upload any documents. I did not revise my report, and I don't have any notification. Okay. So now we have gone through our entire FFR report. So just a couple of things I talked about earlier as far as updating your profile. Under user account maintenance, you use update privileges. But before I go there, I'm going to go to update contact, because we get this a lot where individuals will try to put a new person's information in here. That is not the purpose of user contact. The user contact is for you to update your information only, whether you have updated your name, your title, you have a change in telephone numbers. Do not use this to give somebody else your access for your user ID. We will reject it again because we know who we give this user ID to. So remember, user contact info is only if you have a change in your information. If you need to update your access level, you will go to update privileges. And here, if you're no longer the prepared, you can uncheck it. Maybe you're no longer the certified, you can uncheck it. If these boxes are not checked, just make sure they check, but make sure someone has access to federal financial reports. Also, you have to make sure your supervisor approves your request. They do not have to have access to the payment management system. They will get an email link. You should always check with your supervisor once you submit the request to make sure it didn't route to their spam folder. Okay. Also, while I'm here, just think about the last question we received. You only need to add access if you have a new PMS account number, not when you get a new grant. You will only get one assigned PMS account number, and then all your new grants that are awarded by that agency will automatically post it under that PMS account number. Okay, well, I have completed my report. or my presentation. So at this time, I will turn it over to Joy if there are any questions. So I do see one in the box. What is the setting that I need in order to find statement reports with financial information on there? I'm looking for a payment remittance statement. Okay, so if you're looking for information about your payments, okay. So if you go to PMS, so we go back to the dashboard. So you go back up to menu. If you go to Apex Reports and Grantee Inquiry. And it may take a minute to come up. If you put in your payee account number, okay, and then payment transaction. If you hit Run Inquiry, if you're putting that information in it comes out blank, then it shouldn't. I mean, the only way you will have blank data, that means we have no payments for you. It should, as long as you've been doing payments and they've been approved in the system all the way, then you should have data in that report. Okay. Another employee can pull the report with dollar on it. Okay, so Amanda, you might need to contact me, but this is a report here. And again, this is all the payments for this account that you can see when it's processed, who submitted it, and then you can also download it. So if you're having that issue, either you can contact your not your grants officer. You can contact your liaison accountant, or you can give me a call after this session. We can set up a time. They told you to update your profile. Okay, so if they're telling you to update your profile, so the main thing is to check to see, I'm going back to the privileges. Check to see if you have access for payment, okay? Because we automatically give you report information, but if you don't have access for like payments, then you need to make sure you have that, okay? So once you update your profile, check your profile, do your report again and see if it gives you that data. Okay, you request payments all the time. Okay, so we need to look at your request. So I'm going to put in the, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I put it in the chat box to call me. We can set up a setup.
Do you want to do a direct chat with her?
I got it. No, okay, I got it. Okay. So thank you.
No worries.
So email me at pmstraining@psc.hhs.gov. When you email me, I need your account number and just a brief statement what you was trying to do, and then give me a date and time that you're available, and then we can set up a meeting, okay? Yes, I put it in the chat box. Can you see it in the chat box? I did to everyone. Hopefully I did that correctly.
Yes, I saw it in the chat box.
You saw it? Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. All right. So okay. So Amanda, I hope I answered. No, that wasn't all your question, but I hope I answered at least most of it, so we can go look at it. Okay.
All right, so we got about like 6 more minutes left of the training. I think, is Amanda, you're saying you do not have the email? If you check the chat options on Zoom, it should be there for everyone. Oh, chat is disabled.
Okay, I think I just sent it. Did you see it now, Amanda? Got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. All right.
All right. So does anybody have any more questions if they wanted to come off mute or I don't even know if it allows you. I think I might have just muted everyone. But if you want to put an option here in the chat and I can take you off mute if you have any additional questions. We have about 5 more minutes left of the training. Doesn't look like we have any more questions. Oh wait. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, TJ. Really appreciate it. If you all have any more questions, she put the information, her email into the box. If you guys have any more questions, you can also email your program officer with FVPSA or your grants management specialist with Office of Grants Management. Either one, and we can kind of get you directed to the right person. But we thank everyone for participating today. Hope you learned something. I'm sure you learned something. It was very helpful. Thanks, TJ.
You're welcome. And before we go, I talked about if you need to find your liaison accountant from the homepage, you can go to Find My Liaison Accountant. And because it's the HHS grant, you decide what are you know, your organization. And then from there, if you're nonprofit, you just go to your state. So if I do Indiana, I click go, then that's where you will find your PMS liaison accountant. Okay.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's good. I didn't even know that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we have no questions. I think we're good to go. So thanks, everyone. And thank you so much, TJ.
You're welcome. Y'all enjoy your day.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.